Hey everybody, welcome back to Stache Club Wrestling. My name is John Moonsault. Today, we have another edition of the hottest wrestling weekly, multiple times a week show happening on the internet. People are yaying across the country. People are booing in every single hemisphere. Today, we are going back to SmackDown yays and boos. It's basically hot takes. A yay means I agree. A boo means I disagree. It's nothing deeper than that. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe, leave your likes, leave your comments. Check out the merch we have in the description. We have some Bash at the Stash tees and some koozies for the summer. We have a Patreon. We have a Fanatics affiliate link. Check all that stuff out. Follow me on everything. Check out my channel, John Moonsault. I post a bunch of solo stuff on there. All right, without further ado, let's jump right into it. The first yay or boo hot take was not a fan of Solo winning his qualifier, especially with Rey Fenix taking the pin. The only way WWE can salvage this for me is if Jacob costs Solo the briefcase. That sets up the match for SummerSlam. Phoenix will probably head to Worlds Collide. Yeah, I ultimately agree, even just from the obvious standpoint of I'm a Rey Fenix fan and I want Rey Fenix to win. So this is ultimately a yay. I'll get out of the way because this seems to be the argument with everyone. It's like, oh, Rey Fenix will just go to Worlds Collide. He's just down for Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide is like an NXT and AAA thing. And admittedly, I don't know much about AAA, so I can't like super comment on the quality. I haven't heard like great things necessarily of recent. Point being is it doesn't seem like an equal alternative in terms of prestige, right? Especially if you're already a main roster superstar in these qualifying matches. He just had a WrestleMania match. I know you replaced Rey, and oh, he only lost El Grande because it was a replacement. You didn't have time to. It's all BS. Everyone's making excuses for all this Rey Fenix losses. I'm less concerned with it being like Solo as the winner versus like even a Jimmy. I just think it should have been Rey Fenix. You have this new guy who has all the capabilities of being a mega star, and like he eats the loss against El Grande at WrestleMania, and then you have him lose his qualifier match. Why wouldn't you want a wrestler of Rey Fenix's caliber and what he can do and what he has proven to do in ladder matches and multi-man ladder matches? Why wouldn't you want someone like him in a Money in the Bank match? It's perfect. He was talking to Andrade backstage. I'm nervous Andrade probably won't make it in. I don't know. I mean, sure, I'm not even saying he's gonna win. Rey Fenix should not win the Money in the Bank. I'm not saying, oh, you should get the world title tomorrow. He should not win Money in the Bank. However, I do want to see him do some cool like sunset flips and moonsaults and shit off ladders and through ladders. So this kind of goes on to also, you know, Solo potentially win the briefcase. I think I saw some speculation where like Solo wins the briefcase and he's ultimately the one to challenge Cena or whatever. I'd probably throw up. I don't know. I think I'm not going to jump to conclusions because I don't think Solo's winning. Granted, he's the first qualifier, so we have yet to see who else is in the match. We'll kind of see like how likely his odds are. And then yes, sure, there's a lot of like story that could be told with like Jacob trying to get the briefcase. And I don't think Jacob and Solo need anything more than Jacob having the US title. So that's kind of just totally out the window. It's unnecessary for me. But yeah, I'm pretty hard stance on this should have been a Rey Fenix W with like Jacob maybe accidentally costing Solo or Jimmy getting in the way, or I don't know. It's Solo winning this is a little crazy to me, but we'll move on. All right, next hot take is Julia has to win the Money in the Bank qualifier next week. Charlotte doesn't need to be in it, and Zelina already has the US title. Wow, super pro Julia, and this username is named John. Is this my burner account? This is a yay. I fully agree. However, not to just, you know, keep on it, but like Rey Fenix, a new superstar on the main roster. Julia, supposed to be this big deal, called up to the main roster. She was on Raw. SmackDown ended up signing her in kayfabe. So you would think the new hot young star they're trying to push, you'd get Money in the Bank. Apparently that's not the case. Apparently that might not be what we're doing. I hope so. So this is a yay. I fully agree with this. Well, Charlotte like can be in it. I don't think Charlotte being in it is fine. Or maybe you mean the Money in the Bank match in general. Okay, so to that I agree. Would it be cool to see Charlotte in the Money in the Bank match? Sure. I think she should be in the qualifier. It makes the qualifiers feel like a bigger deal. And you're right. As much as I'd love Zelina to be in it, I am kind of in favor of like if you already have a title, granted it's a mid-card title and the Money in the Bank is often used, except for like that one or two times, is often used for a world title, so you want the upgrade ultimately. But I think the mid-card champions can stay mid-card champions and leave Money in the Bank to people who don't have a title. So I agree. Julia, of those three in that qualifier, is the only option. If you want her to be a star, make her a star. push her there. You just signed him, showcase her. I think she would do great things in the Money in the Bank match. And it's something brand new. It's a brand new superstar. It's new faces. We haven't seen Julia yet in that kind of caliber of a match, right? I fully agree. And also, I'm so Julia. So moving on. This next one says, if Solo wins Money in the Bank, I might legit be done watching this product every week. All right, hey, listen, I get where you're coming from. I do have to give this a boo, strictly because I disagree that I'm going to stop watching the product considering it is my entire job and livelihood and everything. So I will not be watching the product. So that's a boo. It's a slight boo. But I'm with you that I do not want Solo to win Money in the Bank. And yeah, all right, moving on. The SmackDown roster is great with all the additions, but it won't truly be a great show till they cut it to 2 hours. Right now, it's very much watchable, though. As of right now, we are getting to like the third quarter of May, and hopefully, I haven't heard much talk about it recently, but like before there was talk about like, oh, in June or sometime in June, SmackDown is going back to 2 hours. Haven't heard much more talk about that. Don't know if that's going to be an actual thing, so I'm getting nervous. Money's money. If they're making more money with 3-hour show, they're gonna just stay at a 3-hour show. But I was on stream the other night on Twitch and my YouTube for SmackDown, and we got like 2 hours in. I was like, this is a great show. This is probably the best SmackDown. It's nowhere near where Raw is, but I was like, this is the best SmackDown in recent memory. And I looked at the time and I was like, oh, we have another hour? Like, this has been a great 2-hour show, but another hour. And granted, the second hour, the third hour, I should say, of SmackDown at being solid. I like Tiffany and Nia, but I do agree it's gonna be its strongest if it's cut back 2 hours. But I also agree. So this is ultimately getting a yay that it is very much watchable. 3 hours is just a little bit of Raw has it down to a science. That like 220 to 240 is like perfect. If SmackDown was even to 230, I think that would help. I do think it benefits from being 2 hours. But I ultimately agree. Let's keep our fingers crossed that whatever that discussion was of, oh, it's getting cut down is still on the table, because I think that's important. And also, I don't want to be up till 11 on Fridays. I got to edit clips and I got to do yays and boos. It would help me. Personally, SmackDown ending at 10 would help me so much in my personal life. So maybe I'm a little biased. All right, next one. This is a screenshot of a GIF, so sorry, it's kind of crappy quality. But it says, I love LA Knight, and he pulled off the shorts look, but this man pulled it off better. It's a yay. It's a yay, but who's pulling off any fit, most fits, any article of clothing better than Shawn Michaels, be it 90s Shawn Michaels? That was the first thing I saw when LA Knight came out. I think I said, whoa, he's got the Hoochie Daddy shorts on. Lean into that look. Get rid of the Tims and like the really like tight skinny jeans. I like Tims, but they don't look good with the skinny jeans. You need the jeans to go over the Tims, not in them. But if he keeps this kind of like cut off tee, short shorts, like boots look, we got something. This is the summer of LA Knight fits. I can feel it, but come on. It's a tough, it's like comparing, apples to a prime Frank Sinatra song. Only one is going to be amazing at piano. You know what I mean? That was a dumb comparison. I thought that was funny. All right, next one. Alexa Bliss's victory in the Women's Money in the Bank qualifying match marks a significant return to form. Her presence adds depth to the women's division and sets the stage for potential high-stakes confrontations. Bliss could emerge as a top contender, possibly cashing it in. All right, first of all, you should write articles. I feel like I put yours in maybe 1 or 2 hot takes ago. If you're the same person, this is very articulated well. Very articulated well. You see what I mean? Not everyone has it. A yay for how this is written, period. And also a yay for Alexa Bliss's victory in the Women's Money in the Bank qualifier match. She was the person to win it. I love Michin. I just don't think she had a shot against those two. I do love Chelsea Green. It was tough to see Chelsea not qualify. That's the thing with all these qualifiers. You have oftentimes you have 2, sometimes 3 people where you're like, oh, every single one of these people should qualify. I want to see qualify. Chelsea Green would be sick in a Money in the Bank match this year. She's been super hot. We can always pull out some of that Lucha Underground hardcore Chelsea with the ladders, which is always sick to see. However, I do think this was the right decision in Alexa Bliss. It's been really cool to see the pop and the reaction she's been getting from fans on her return. I know she returned from the Royal Rumble and she made 1 or 2 appearances. It's been real, I don't even want to say stop and go, a little bit go and mostly stop. Now, like you said, it is return to form. It is a significant presence here. She's rubbing shoulders with a Charlotte, and then Julia was in that same segment. So she is solidifying herself with this win as a top contender, a main eventer in the SmackDown Women's division where she belongs, but you do need to kind of reestablish yourself. You've been gone for so long. So I am over the moon, Salt, to see the reaction, how she looks in the ring. She looks great, hasn't missed a step. Not that she would or anyone expected her to, but you know what I mean. And honestly, I think she's a front runner to win the whole damn thing. Give her the first, I think she said it in an interview, or not an interview, a backstage thing, where she was like, I want to be the first 2-time Women's Money in the Bank winner. I don't think that's crazy. We don't know the participants fully yet, but I would be shocked she's not a front runner, All right. Thanks for this one. Moving on. The best part of SmackDown is the tag division. I would say so. Other SmackDown divisions are getting better. You know, we just had Julia and now Alexa fully on the SmackDown roster. The women's division is getting beefier. It is still obvious that we're missing a Cody or a Roman. Those two for the past months have just acted for free. I don't know what officially they're on. I think one might be officially on Raw. Who knows? Regardless, you're missing some big stars. You do have Drew McIntyre really holding it down up top. But the SmackDown tag division is electric. It was already so good, and now you're adding in Fraxium, which is giving you highlight reels every single week. Speaking of Fraxium, last night Fraxium and DIY was a banger. Then you got the Motor City Machine Guns involvement. I want to keep Pretty Deadly and Los Garzas involved. Los Garzas kind of seem like they might be like breaking up or doing some shit on their own, so maybe they got replaced with Fraxium in terms of the tag division. But then we have the Street Profits versus Fraxium next week. They're gonna go crazy. Street Profits have been on top of the world since winning the titles. So yeah, it's kind of nice to talk positively about a tag team division. And yeah, the SmackDown tag team division is killing it. It's stacked. It's so good. All right, next is, I don't understand the appeal of Nia Jax. Her character isn't appealing and her in-ring work leaves a lot to be desired. Tiffany's story has moved past Nia. There's no need to bring back the baggage, excuse me. Wait a minute. Did I lose track of what I was doing? Okay, just in case. SmackDown tag division. Yay. All right, I think we're caught up. Okay. All right, so anyway, Nia Jax, in-ring character, blah, blah, Tiffany. I'm giving it a slight boo. Only because, one, I think Nia gets so much shit online, and like, I'm not saying like some criticism isn't deserved, maybe like, you know, there's a botch here or whatever, but God, she is under a microscope, and I think she's been improving. Like, when she first returned, however it was, like a couple months ago, like, she's had some great matches. She does, you know, have that, like, the moment where, like, Tiffany was in the corner and she did like the sit down thing on Tiffany. That looked pretty scary. However, she took that chair shot like a beast. I obviously hope she's okay, and like there was pretty instant blood. It seemed very real. I don't think that was a work or anything. But she took that like a champ. Not that you need to do those sort of things like earn your respect, but you know, I'm in this world of wrestling where people are like, oh, you got hit in the head with a chair, much respect. Like, I think that might kind of happen. Again, I want to reiterate, I don't know it was a very scary moment. Like, hopefully nothing serious happened. I hope she's okay, because it's always sketchy when you get real blood from a real chair shot. It's kind of impacted way more than you were expecting. I do agree, though, that the Tiffany story and Tiffany's character has moved on past Nia. I do understand, and I also agree with that. They did need to kind of tie a bow on this, because you had Naomi and Jade coming out, and that is kind of what's going to come next, I think, for Tiffany's title picture story. But I think they needed this match to get the rematch clause. Tiffany did cash in on Nia, so I think Nia did deserve a full, outright, straight-up rematch, you know what I mean? So I think that's fair, and it makes sense to me. But now we're moved on. Now that there's a bow on that, Tiffany won, seemed pretty emotional. Move Nia Jax onto stuff, move Tiffany into Naomi and Jade, whatever's going on there. So yeah, so like I get where we're coming from, but I'm also putting on the defense a little bit. Am I sweating? It is so hot in this room. I don't know how I'm going to record videos all summer. This is crazy. Okay, next. I still feel like that JC Mateo / Jeff Cobb debut match had a lot more to it left when the bell rang. It did showcase him a bit, but this didn't feel like a proper debut. However, not everything is perfect. I'm sure his next match is going to blow my effing expectations away, LMAO. All right, I'm giving this one a yay off the bat, and here's why. First of all, JC Mateo, I'm sure, I mean, it's whatever. We'll get used to it. It's fine. I like Jeff Cobb, and people are like, well, they called him Jeff Cobb at Backlash. Like, what the heck? That was just kind of a reactionary, like, commentary having to be like, that's who this is. If they went like, oh my God, it's JC Mateo, it would be hilarious. So they needed to be like, oh, that's Jeff Cobb. For those that know, that's who he is. If you want to look him up, that's who you look up. And then they established his name as JC. Solo was calling him JC, and I was like, is that gonna be his name or is that a nickname? We got JC Mateo. That's not what this is about, though. I do agree his debut match it should have been a bigger deal. I hope he doesn't just get kind of like buried or just lost in, I don't want to call it the vortex, but being really in the vortex or a part of the vortex. Like the Tongas, I wouldn't say are really stars. Jeff Cobb, even though he is now in his 40s, I think does have the potential to be a star and can really throw it down with Jacob in a much better match than they had. But I also think it was an impromptu match. Jeff Cobb, JC Mateo didn't even wrestle in his ring gear. He was in his like jeans and dress shoes or whatever. So I think once we get a proper debut with an entrance, him wearing like the singlet with all like, you know, graphics and stuff, then I think we're like, okay, this is who this guy is. But this is just a little glimpse of like, hey, this guy can wrestle. So here you go. Just to make sure, here's who he is. So ultimately, this is a yay. I am looking forward to seeing more JC Mateo and kind of what he can do in a more expanded version going down the line. So that's where I'm at. All right, last one of the day. I don't know why, but The Miz as Carmelo Hayes' hype man just doesn't work for me. It reminds me of when Sami Zayn was Shinsuke's, quote, manager, a big star who acts more as a sidekick to someone that can already hold his own. Yeah, I haven't liked this pairing either. It's a very weird pairing. However, this past Monday is where I've liked it the most because it was way more Miz being less of like, this isn't going to make sense, but it does in my brain. Way less of like, I'm trying to take you under my wing, let me mentor you. This was way more of Miz on the sidelines being a coach and calling plays, which this I like. You know, he's in the suit, he's calling out to Melo, he's like, yeah, the chin lock, do it. You know, I like the more coach as opposed to like, I'm a manager or I'm taking you under my wing or you're my mentor and I have the power above you, right? I like veteran Miz. I think veteran Miz has so much to give. Also, Miz can still go in the ring. We're not going to get down with that rabbit hole, but veteran Miz is not done in the ring. However, I like this super experienced former WWE champion coaching this new guy. And ultimately, we are going to get like Miz and Carmelo splitting off. I'm pretty sure Carmelo is going to turn face and face the Miz. Miz is going to put him over. It's going to be great. If you asked me last week, it was a yay, but now that I'm kind of liking where we're at now, it's still not great. I'm going to give this a slight boo, but it is the slightest. I don't fully agree. Next week, I can fully change my mind of being like, okay, never mind, this sucks. But I enjoyed it this week. What I didn't enjoy was the Miz getting involved, taking out Aleister, because Carmelo and Aleister were throwing it down. And I get now, like, Carmelo is just like the best of 7 guy. So, like, fine, give me a best of 7, whatever. I didn't need the Miz interrupting this. And for some reason on commentary, they were selling this as like, oh, like, no one won. It was thrown out, whatever. I don't know. Unless I'm wrong and I could absolutely be stood corrected here. I'm pretty sure the Miz just attacked Malachi or Aleister Black, and that's disqualification. Now Malachi Black, Jesus Christ, Aleister Black, sorry, is up to nothing on Melo. Am I crazy? I don't know. So that I didn't love. Is a little bit of an eye roll of like, of course, Miz gets involved. Hopefully Carmelo is a little angry at that. He didn't seem it. He just kind of took advantage of it and hit the big leg drop or whatever. So I don't know. I'm so on the fence, but that's where I'm at with this. I don't know. All right, folks, that is it for this week's SmackDown Yays and Boos. Please, in the comments, let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with, what are some of your hot takes, what are your yays, what are your boos. Please make sure you subscribe, leave your likes, follow me on everything, follow my own channel, John Moonsault. We have merch in the description. We got Bash at the Stash tees going crazy. They're a great t-shirt. Come on, pick one up for the summer. What else? Patreon and Fanatics. That's all the plugs. I'll see you next time. Check out the podcast. Check out all the quizzes coming out. And yeah, good stuff happening here. So I appreciate you being here as always. I really do. It means a lot. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye.